Hey y'all, what's crack-a-lackin'? Day 74. I want to tell a story today. So, as some of y'all know, I just got back from Colorado. We went to a Gaia conference, deepening my studying of Gene Keys. Got to meet Richard Rudd, the founder of the Gene Keys, and so many beautiful souls, not to mention absorb the magic of Colorado. It was a very enriching experience and a wonderful opportunity to do around a month that has brought so much beauty to my life and also so much growth. October, laced with opportunities to grow. So, my story today is around something many of y'all know that I do. I like to choose an anchor word for the year. Instead of making New Year's resolutions on January, instead of making huge lists to do, I have never liked that. I've sometimes forced myself to do it, especially when I was younger and conditioned that that was the way. And for several years now, I have shifted my perspective around the new year, which I believe is more so technically in Aries season, which is March, April. But there is a collective pulse that marks the time of 2023 shifting into 2024, that shifts that number. And there is a big percentage of the collective that believes in this. This time change and this opportunity for a new beginning. And so you can surf the waves of a new beginning on January 1st when our year mark shifts. So I like to do that. I like to gather together. We drink cacao, we pray, we set an intention, and we choose an anchor word. So if this inspires you, you too can choose an anchor word. You don't have to wait until next year. You can do it whenever you like. And one thing that I like to do is stamp the word on a bracelet. And this is a very simple bracelet. It's just a cord, a little fabric cord, a metal washer, basically. And this one's a brass one. The one that I had made for a lot of people last year and that that I was wearing was a gold plated one. So let's go to the story now that I've laid out all the important elements of it. So I'm in Colorado. It's day two of the Gene Key workshop, and I am deeply moved by this opportunity to meet one of my teachers. I'm moved by the land, the space, the people that these events attract. And we're at lunch and we're walking the labyrinth. Gaia headquarters has a beautiful space in Boulder, Colorado. And out in the lawn is a labyrinth, and you can walk the labyrinth. And I had set an intention before I went to the labyrinth, and, as they say to do. And as I was walking up to the labyrinth, I said, show me what no longer needs to be with me. Show me what I've already learned. Show me how I can lighten my load. It was something along those lines. And then I began the labyrinth. And as you know, the labyrinth, it's a lot of intentional silent walking in what feels like a maze pattern until you enter the middle, which typically will have some sort of centerpiece. At Gaia, they have a center stone. It's a huge stone. It reminds me of many of my trips in Ireland where they would have these large stones, um, headstones, and there's another name for them too. But sometimes they'd have carvings on them, etchings. They'd be placed in a very monumental way. They are ancient, many of them. This one I don't think is quite so ancient, but nevertheless, just because America is so young, but nevertheless, it feels magical. And so, as I'm thanking all of the directions and thanking this trip, I'm there for maybe the sixth time, I think it is, in this land and in this space. And I'm just looking at the stone and I'm setting an intention. I thank the earth and I thank Father Sky and Mother Earth. And I look over, and just across the lawn on the balcony is Richard, the founder of the Gene Keys, and his team, and they're sitting there discussing. And Richard is just so relaxed and so contemplative and just present and engaged and listening to them. And I remember just sending him so much gratitude and thanks. And I thought of something. and I thought of my word for the year. I thought of devotion, which is the word I've been contemplating. It's been my anchor word. It's been a very supportive word that has helped me through a separation, a long-term relationship separations, helping me through divorce, helping me come back home and deepen my connection to my priestess, to myself as a woman, to my discernment, to my integrity, to my truth, to my heart, to my femininity, to my home, to my land, to my family, all of it. My friends, my body, and devotion. And I want to share a few nuggets about devotion for you. First off, the Webster's Dictionary um, version of it. The act of dedicating something to a cause, enterprise, or activity, the act of devoting. An allegiance, fidelity, loyalty, faithfulness to something to which one is bound by pledge or duty, self dedication, loyalty and love for someone or something, enthusiasm for a person, activity, or cause, prayer, religious observance, religious worship, a devotion of his time and wealth to science. This is an example they're giving. Feelings of ardent love, great love, affection, admiration. Beautiful, right? And so the city of devotion, it's the 29th city, and Richard speaks about this. He has a deep love for the 18th key, and he doesn't have the 18 anywhere in his design. And he says, I have no reason to love this key. I just genuinely resonate with it and love it. And I feel that way about the 29th key. I don't have this in my profile. I don't even have the gate activated in my human design. But I will say the programming partner, the 30th, which is such a beautiful key. It comes off of the solar plexus. And the 30 is my conscious Saturn is 30.6. So the programming partners, as we know, hold a great amount of tension and correlation, correspondence. So perhaps it's that. But otherwise, Richard says, don't question it. If you resonate with something, resonate with it and allow your body to reveal to you why and allow that key to be your key. It doesn't need to technically fall in your chart. You can resonate with many things that don't fall into your chart or aren't said to be compatible or what, these sort of things. He was basically like, fuck it, go with it, in a much more eloquent way. It says, surrender into the heart. As your devotion deepens, you adjust your inner being to the organic nature of the heart, which knows no rules and takes its own strange twists and turns. It's a harmonic transcendence. It's about saying yes to life. Trust your heart above all else. To be devoted means to lie forever in the lap of the divine. And so it is so beautiful contemplating devotion. And in that moment when I saw Richard and I thought about my bracelet and I thought about how devoted I have been and how my devotion has led me to prioritize this interaction with this human who's inspired so much healing in me and others, these beautiful beings I get to touch and share this medicine with, this beautiful soul that transmuted this wisdom for us to marinate on and help us find answers to things that sometimes seem unanswerable. Just felt so appreciative, and I felt so proud that I had allowed this word of devotion to move so deeply through me in so many beautiful ways. And so immediately I got a familiar knowing that I needed to offer my word. I needed to offer my bracelet. And I've left my words over the years in many special places. And every time I'm asked to leave the word, it's a very distinct, soft order that I sense, that I hear, that I feel, that I see. It's my intuition, my inner knowing that says, leave the word, offer the word. It's in you now. It's okay. Let it go. Let it be here. Let it mark this land. Let it inspire those that might see it. trust and know that it's moving through your veins. And this was the first time that I challenged the voice. And I said, are you sure? Are you sure this is the place? Are you sure the word is in me? I don't need more time with it. I felt a little bit of like, I wanted to keep it and I wanted to hold on to it and I wanted to give it away when I was ready to give it away. And the voice was like, do as you're told, trust. This is what you're hearing, this is what's true. And so as I took the bracelet off, I cried. I cried so much because that bracelet has seen me through. It hasn't left my wrist since I put it on, aside from a few massages, which is the only time it really ever gets in the way. I shower with it, swim in the ocean with it, vacation with it. It goes dressy outfits, casual outfits. It's everything. And so as I took it off and I felt my naked wrist and I kind of looked down at my goddess symbols here, on my tattoo, I just thought about how, of course, it's in me. It's always in me. This word has just helped bring it a little bit more present to the surface for me. It's been a safety point for me, and I can trust myself now. I can let this go now. And I set it up on top of the headstone, along with a little apple that I'd been carrying as an offering. And, there were some pine cones, and other people had left jewelry up there, and little crystals and stones and trinkets. And, it's an offering. And as I set it there and I said the word there and said goodbye to it, I felt this huge sense of trust and faith. Like when you take direction from spirit, that is the ultimate leap of devotion. And I got it in that moment. I was like, oh, I get it now. Like that offering took the devotion that I've been strengthening to step into. So I kind of like laughed at the cosmic joke and laughed at it. And I just blessed the word and I told the word I would be back to see it. I've gone back to see other words that I've left in Ireland and various places around the world. When I travel back, they actually are always there, which is such a beautiful thing. I've thrown one in a fire and they went out into the ocean after that when the tide came up, I'm sure. And yeah, but a lot of the other ones have been left in places, which is pretty cool. So anyway, left it, and then I exited the labyrinth, which is another long contemplative walk. And I looked up, and Richard was gone. The whole team was gone. I was like, "Wow, is that a vision? How long have I been here?" Anyway, it was beautiful. And so I leave the labyrinth, and huge sigh when I exit, and just bow and thank Spirit, myself, the universe, the land, this place, the person that designed this place, all of it. Richard for bringing us together. And since then, it's about a week out now, I have felt the word devotion, the practice of devotion, so much deeper than ever before. And so it's a beautiful mystery to unwind and uncover. And for those of you that were at my circle and chose your word for the year, I've shared stories like this before. And when you get the call to leave your word or offer it to the land or offer it to a person, sometimes I've exchanged words with people before. I'll invite you to be bold. I'll invite you to listen. I'll invite you to not question, because you're not saying goodbye to the word. The word's going to deepen, and it may require faith to give your word away in the way that spirit seems to be telling you. And again, I just encourage you to lean into it. And yeah, I'm so honored to have this Gene Key devotion, the 29th, dancing through my veins and continuing to move me throughout the fall and the winter of this year. And I'm excited to see what anchor word comes next. This is also a 1 year for me, so I'm starting a new cycle and to have devotion as my anchor point for a 1 year, that was very significant as well. I'm starting a cycle with such intentionality. I'm devoting to me, to my womanhood, to my priestess, my goddess, and moving into a cycle where she's leading the way. It's exciting times. So that's my story for today. I hope that inspires you. Let me know what your word is if you've chosen a word for the year, or if you've left your word somewhere already, or if you have an idea of where you might want to leave it, or how it's worked through you and integrated into your year. Let me know. I'd love to hear your stories. I'll see you guys tomorrow.